Thanks for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. One of the major responsibilities of the government is to provide adequate security for our citizens. It is on this premise that the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, charged the military, police and other security agencies in the country to minimize casualties by ensuring adequate protection of civilians and humanitarian workers during violent conflicts. This call was made during this year's inauguration ceremony of the Comprehensive Protection of Civilians course in Abuja. The team lead of the Governance, Peace and Security Unit of the agency, Matthew Alao, says that civilians often bear the brunt of hostilities and uncertainties in the conflict zones around the world. As such, there is need to ensure their safety, uphold their rights and safeguard their dignities. Joining us in the studio is a security expert, Darlington Umoru. Thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Once again, we're here to talk about security, and we don't have any choice. We'll keep coming to talk on security matters until we get it right. Absolutely.
We just have to keep talking about, even in the developed economies, we also talk about security, how to improve security, because it's a global challenge, really. But how do you receive this news, about the UNDP, calling for Nigerian military to ensure that they reduce civilian casualties, protecting the civilians? How significant is this to this conversation?
Well, it's not out of place. It's not surprising. Of course, where you have a conflict, you must always also have the issue of the civilians suffering a part of it. Because sometimes the civilians themselves could be the target of a part of that conflict. So, but I have a challenge. My challenge is, well, the UN has to talk, but what has the UN really done for Nigeria to help reduce or minimize this conflict going on in the country? How much has UN done to the other countries who are one way or the other influencing what is happening in Nigeria? These are, you see, like I said some time ago, I said you don't cut a tree from the top. Cut it from the roots. And then it could die a natural death. You are telling the military security agencies and all of that to do whatever they could to minimize the effect conflicts have on civilians. Yes, but you should do something more than that could help prevent those conflicts. In the past, when there are conflicts in other countries, Nigerian military had served under the UN peacekeeping mission. They had also served under ECOMOG. How much of that have we had? Have you had the presence of the UN military peacekeeping forces coming to join the Nigerian military to tackle or settle the insecurity conflicts we have here? Why telling us, is this what we need at this point in time? How much equipment have you given the Nigerian military to fight the terrorists and the bandits? These are the basic things. How much have you helped to control or sanction countries where firearms are finding their ways into Nigeria from? Drugs will leave Canada. A container load of cannabis left the shores of Canada and got to Nigeria, only to be intercepted. Otherwise, if they were not concealed? Are you saying intelligence in Canada is down? Are you saying the security apparatus in Canada is low? Are you saying the drug controlling agency in Canada didn't know about a 40-foot container that left that place? Look at the one that just happened, intercepted in Port Harcourt, firearms. Those ones were concealed, agreed. Where were they coming from? How much has UN done? How have they helped African countries, not just Nigeria in this instance? How much have they done? You grow cannabis in those countries, you export them to Africa. We use them to kill ourselves, get insane. They are sold, and the profit sometimes gets to the hands of these terrorists. And then they also look at what happened in Gaza. The suicide bombers, the IED vest. You think they want to wear it on their own, out of their own volition, voluntarily? They are drugged. And so where are these drugs coming from? These are the basic issues that UN needs to address. You are talking about how civilians suffer the effects of conflict. You are not looking at how to stop those conflicts. That is my bane.
And, you know, one will say that telling the Nigerian military to ensure that they reduce the number of casualties, civilian casualties, and the brunt they bear, especially during this fire exchange most times, is something that has always been part of the training of the military, and they're actually doing their best, especially with what they have on ground, in ensuring that the situation is managed. Looking at the fact that recently, some weeks ago, there was suggestion that the military will be following some Nigerians, some farmers, during the rainy season.
Yes.
So these are factors
it's
that
ongoing
should be
now,
considered, rather than just giving a statement and not, you know, providing more in area of effort and all that. But it's also noting that adequate protection of civilian and humanitarian workers, that's also another part that should be mentioned. Recently, we had the Gaza attack, and, you know, a level of persons, a number of persons were injured in this situation. What will you say of the military itself and how they have managed?
Highly professional. The Nigerian military are about the best, one of the best in the world. They have performed under US and they came back with medals. They have performed under ECOMOG, they came back with medals, with less casualties. What does that tell you? They are the same people operating in the land. It's not just about criticizing these persons. I challenged a presenter yesterday. I said, come, let me take you to Sambisa Forest, and then stay there for 24 hours, and then come back and tell me whether you remain the same. No shelter. You see, these terrorists and bandits, they are aware about this politics. And so sometimes that's why they want to use humans as shields. Sometimes they want to use children kidnapped as shields. Now, the military is so conscious about all of that, the Nigerian military specifically here now. They have been so conscious about that's why sometimes, you see, when children are taken away, they don't just invade the place. It's not as if they don't know where they are. But they cannot just invade because they are considering civilian casualties. And so it has not helped them. Now they know there's an enclave, there's an area occupied by these persons, and then you also have innocent people there. They don't just go there to hit that place or try to take out the terrorists. The Nigerian military are so professional such that it's even affecting the rest of us. Because it's like I'm twisting their or tying their hands as to what they could carry out force. They are trained. They are trained to attack these persons. But for that simple thing that Amnesty International will come on them, some other international organization will come on them, will even misinterpret some of these things. It's even making them a bit wanting to withdraw from certain things they need to. Rather than carry out full force, 100% force on certain areas and on these people, they begin to consider this civilian casualty. Yes, you need to consider all of that. But yes, is it really helping us completely? No, it is not what UN should be telling us now.
Are you saying that we should phase